good ones today.
We got a really exciting episode for you guys today. Our main topic is 5th edition Team Deathmatch. I am super excited for this. Oh, hey, thanks for the follow. I'm super excited for this. That's Zipper on Disney. You the man. Um, and of course, we have our unearthed tips and tricks where we bring you new and reusable material for both players and DMs. We are talking 5th edition Team Deathmatch. If you don't know, it is an entirely new way to enjoy Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition. It is a contest of skill, wits, and luck. Now, um, it's not just about killing other players, but that's definitely something I would enjoy about it. Thank
Yeah,
you
I
for
think
the
we're in the
follow.
wrong.
It's about competing against each other to overcome obstacles together as a team. Now, sometimes that means killing the other team, but that's not always the primary goal, which is what I think is fascinating about this. Because we've talked about it on the show before about having competing goals between one group of adventurers and another and watching them kind of tug of war that out, right?
Right. Yeah.
Um, this 5th edition team deathmatch, they call it 5T 5TDM, I think is the shortening from it. Yeah,
Yeah.
5TDM. Basically, what you do is you pit small teams against each other in a real no holds barred frenzy of carnage in a team based player versus player competition, which is something you don't see usually in 5th edition. That's something that's kind of a no go, right?
Yeah, I've been kind of noticing that. It doesn't feel like the rules really tailor to it super easily, I
Right.
guess.
And
Like you can do it, it's just nah.
and
Like
most
I
people don't
know,
want it, right?
well,
Right.
well, I know when I ran battle royales in the past, I've definitely had some people saying that goes against the spirit of the game. It's not built for it.
That
And to them, I
Yeah.
say, no, the spirit of the game is having fun with your friends. Why you make it more complicated than you have to?
that is the best response to that.
I agree 100%. Yeah.
So, while it is player versus player competition, it's more about it's a game. It's fast. It's frantic play that is encouraged over a wide variety of bizarre, twisted hellscape arenas, which, by the way, are fantastic.
I looked through like a lot of them, and I was like, man, it's hard to choose one because there was some real interesting ones. But I think I'm happy with what I
Shoot,
chose so far.
and we
shoot, I almost went with the very first entry
Yeah,
because of the
honestly, it was just like, geez, it came out strong.
yeah, it's pretty some good stuff. We obviously aren't going to go over all of them, but we did each
no.
pick one that we are going to talk about. What's cool about Team Deathmatch is that it pushes the tactical boundaries of the game in new and exciting ways. And
Yes.
I know that's tickling Ian's dice
Yeah.
because I know he loves his tactical combat.
I love how, because usually, what is it for the rogue? The cunning action part of the whole like you can use an item as a bonus action. I think that's part of
No,
the
a
cunning action, right?
thief can do that though.
Oh, it's a thief. That's what it was. Well, because you can go to third level. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, there's a lot of fun stuff where I was like, man, if I was a thief and I had fast hands, oh man, because then you can do something, run, and then do that thing,
yes.
and it's
Um.
just like it's so many more options, and that you wouldn't normally have because this is tailored exactly like that, right?
Yeah.
So it's cool.
I'm pretty sure that we have the creator, or at least one of the designers, joining us under the name Defy Danger. He says that Slaughterhouse was one of our first designed and one of our best. And I indeed do love the Slaughterhouse. What I think is hilarious is that it needs to be like a like a battle arena that's like a restaurant for like the orcs, and at the bottom, what goes in comes out as burgers, and they sell it on the market. I think that would be hilarious.
Oh, that makes sense. He says it was inspired by the game Robo Rally, and I have played
Oh,
times with a board game group, so I
oh, that
like,
is cool.
yeah, I see it now.
Right. So what's 5e team deathmatch takes on the promise of an intense tactical option for 5th edition. Now, this is where the power gaming and min maxing and those that really want to win at a role playing game. I'm going to use and put that in quotes, right?
Mhm.
Uh, and become its ultimate champion, this is the game for you. This is really what you want. You go in with, how can I build the best character?
Right.
Now, in this game, because of the arena and the different unique features that come with it, the best isn't always the highest damage,
Right.
which is very important.
It's cool because there's definitely like some. There's definitely like this sense of like team composition, right? You
Mhm.
probably hear that in MOBAs all the time, like, oh, I gotta have the right team comp, and like I could imagine having like me and like a few friends, right? Like you guys, and it'd be really cool to be like, all right, guys, I'm gonna be the tank. I'm gonna soak up so much damage. It's gonna be unreal. I'm gonna go in. I'm gonna grapple like 2 of them as like an unarmed barbarian, and it's gonna be great. And I can just imagine Neo being like, "Yes, I will set them on fire from afar."
I'm way over here.
Ian, I got him. Set us on fire.
Yeah.
Use fireball.
In the book, it actually talks about how positioning and the push and pull and all that stuff is actually very critical. I mean, one of the in one of the levels, the one I picked, my favorite is run. You literally could probably throw somebody into their death, which is just terrifying because you guys did the whole well, I'll talk about it when we get to that point, but you literally can push people right into grinders. You can throw them into their death, and that's huge. For me, it could come down to a point where you're um tied for a, let's say you're up by 1, and you're afraid that the big wizard guy is about to unload his big spell and possibly kill 2 of your players, pulling them in the lead. Well, as a barbarian, I'm like, we got a point. I'm gonna grab and just jump in the meat grinder, you know, and stuff like that becomes a strategy.
Yeah.
So, anyway,
So cool. That'd be
yeah.
such a badass moment. Like, oh guys, I gotta do it. I gotta do it for the team. Like, what are you gonna do? It's like, I'm going in, and you're just like, ah. That'd be really cool. That'd be
um,
such a cool guy move. Oh yeah, I just sacrificed myself for the team, guys. Pro gamer right here.
yeah, and really what makes this really cool is it's more nuanced than just like the 1v1 battles and the games you normally play. Because it pits team against each other, you don't, it's not all about damage. You can easily use clever thought process to outmaneuver your opponents or just survive the longest and suffer the fewest number of rounds or the number of deaths during, you know, a long hour match. It is worth noting that these are designed to be played in hour increments. One match takes an hour. That's, you set it to that. There's actually they do encourage using timers. Every person's round is 1 minute, and you put a little timer out, and that creates a lot of what? A lot of tension, doesn't it?
Creates a lot of oh man, is this the right move? I don't know. I'm gonna. I am wizard. Cast fireball.
um, because of that, it does require a deep understanding of 5e rules, so I wouldn't recommend playing this if you are new. Personally, that's just my opinion. Nothing says you can't, but the better you know the rules, the more likely you can make an intelligent decision based on the scenarios, which is awesome. But
Yes.
the focus of this, while building a powerful character, is great. Teamwork, communication, and an unending thirst for blood are really what drive this to an exciting climax, because that's what it's all about. By putting it on an hour time limit, by putting everybody's turn on 1 minute, you're building tension. You're building that everyone needs to be focused on the game, because if you turn away for a second, you may not be able to make the right decision,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that's great.
I,
So
I I like the need for attention. I think
yes,
that's a great rule that they added.
yeah. So there's a lot in this book. We're gonna start off with just the basic mechanics at kind of a high level. All they call them they're called dungeoneers in this instead of like heroes or characters, but all characters are 3 or 4 players at 3rd level. Are called dungeoneers, and basically they compete against each other for a specific arena. The arena can change, and the rules are different depending on the arena. Specifically, the uniqueness of the arena adds to the element. Like for one of the grindhouse, for instance, has conveyor belts that drops you into a hole full of, you know, cut your players up and die, or you're not your players. We
Yeah.
don't want murder. Your characters, your Dungeoneers, and slice and dice them up. Um, but what's cool is death is not the end, right?
I like that a lot. That was cool.
They brought very much that video game feeling of respawning.
Mm-hmm.
What's cool is how they handle the respawning. There's certain respawn modes on some of the maps. There's some maps that don't have them, and we'll talk about one of them because I picked one. But when you die, you can respawn, and if you've got like buffs that last longer than I think a minute, they stay on your character.
Yeah.
Now concentration still applies, so if you get hit, it might go away. But if you have anything you recover on a short rest, comes back. So that gives you if you're ahead and that becomes a tactical point, right? Because
I can actually
regaining
see
spell
with that
slots.
tactic some classes intentionally killing themselves to get their abilities back, like warlocks or fighters.
Yeah.
yes, and
Definitely warlocks are fighters.
and definitely, and I think that's something that's interesting because I'm gonna be honest. I've only ever played this as a single player. I personally use the run to playtest stuff. If you've ever seen any of the content that we've produced, I've run it through the run. Um, that's why I picked the run because I use it a lot. But the run format basically allows me to continually test a character's combat abilities, and I run it side by side of something of the same class just to see how it is. But because of the way it works, it's a powerful tool to playtest monsters. And all these arenas can be used for that if you really wanted to.
Right.
What I guess what gets me the most is the character creation rules. Do you guys get a chance to look these over?
Yeah.
And
Not the specials. I knew you had to be like third level, but I
Yeah.
knew about the respawn stuff, but I didn't know anything beyond that.
Okay.
besides being-
Use the point buy system,
Oh,
not
point buy. Okay.
not dice rolls or even the standard array point buy.
Yeah, and there's actually more than that too. Like your hit points at level 1 are everything's averaged. You don't
Yep.
get like max hit points because they
Oh,
want
true.
death.
I see it. Yeah.
You
I see
know,
it. Okay.
and that to me is such a subtle thing because especially for like the weaker hit point classes, like if you don't have that first full level hit point, I can easily see a wizard going down in like a strong
Oh, yeah.
hit, you know. So that
Apparently, they also gain a free bonus feat.
ah
Did not know that.
yeah, and that was it. So there's a couple different things that are given to give more customization, to make it more bloodthirsty, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know how better to describe that, but
Well, I know in the gameplay they basically banned the use of the ready action. So.
that was the other thing.
That was a big one.
Because the focus is supposed to be on adrenaline and go go go. Well, if everyone just holds their action for another to do something, I can see that easily causing
Almost a standstill.
yes, like a stalemate.
Everyone's readying their action to. Well, I ready this if he gets this close to me. Well, I ready this if he gets this close to me, or anyone that gets close to me at all. Like, oh yeah, great. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
You're all sentinels. Great. Who's fighting?
Whose turn? So once again, it does stress the use of other actions: the dash, the dodge, the help, the shove. The shove that is huge. Grappling, I can imagine being very huge.
In a lot of situations, yes. Particularly on the map that I chose, I could see it doing quite a bit.
Right. And
So I'm excited to talk about it when we get there.
did they also included, if I'm not mistaken, variant options from the DMG, specifically flanking.
Yeah, and I've actually used flanking in some games I play, so that doesn't seem out of place to me one bit.
Yeah, and it definitely. I mean that right there is a significant boost to your death because they're less likely to miss now. But that also makes once again that positioning that more important.
Yeah.
So some of the other optional rules they have enabled would be overrun, shove aside, tumble. Tumble is awesome. That lets you like roll through another person's square, which is great.
Okay.
Especially when they have you pinned against the meat grinder, and you're about to go in. You can tumble behind the person and then probably kick them in the dick and knock them over.
Do you have to have anything specific to tumble, or can any character do that?
I think any character can do that because that's just another
Oh
action
wow.
like like dash and dodge.
Oh, it's
Uh,
considered an action. Is that how?
well, I don't remember the specifics of that particular
Okay.
action type. But it is an action type. I don't remember if it's bonus or movement or action. I'm sure somebody can Google it really quick. I'm not going to
Okay.
because I got enough going
Yeah.
on. What
Yeah.
you did mention the free feat. That's really cool because once again that adds the complexity. Uh,
Yeah. I can imagine some, especially like your tanks, taking like the tough feat, something
yes,
simple, and just gaining that extra few amount of hit points. You know, that's every single time you spawn, they have to get through those hit points again. So I mean, it's is it really that bad? Well, maybe not. So I
uh,
don't know.
Divide Danger did confirm that is in fact an action. So,
Okay.
but
Sweet.
if you're about to be pushed into
About
the
to
meat
die.
grinder, I mean, you can either try a contested check to grapple him, but and move away, or you're more likely to succeed diving through it. I guess.
Hmm.
Um,
Or alternatively, you can grapple each other and embrace each other before you go into the grinder.
that's what I would do personally.
Yeah,
Just like, see you later. We're gonna
for sure.
die.
Yeah, it'd be way more interesting to see it happen. He's like, "You're not gonna break free? Nope, I'm gonna grapple you. You're gonna,
We're going
you're gonna
down.
what?
And that can almost be a double kill. One of the cool things about this is when you respawn on one of the respawn points, if somebody's standing there, you get a telefrag.
Oh, yeah.
I used to love those things in Quake, and the idea of grabbing a person, committing suicide, and respawning on top of another person. Oh, genius.
I love this stuff.
Some other things to talk about though is there is a limit on gold. They give you 500 gold pieces, and you don't get your starting equipment. You have whatever you buy with the 500 gold is it.
Hmm.
Um, and the way they handled it with wizards, each you have to buy your spells for your spell book, and it's 50 gold pieces per level. That is fascinating to me. That is an interesting way to balance how what spells they can have access to and how many.
Hmm.
So
I also like how you cannot buy potions, poisons, alchemical, or any other like consumable item as well. It kind of keeps it keeps some of the stuff where you can't just surprise a player by like, oh, now you're poisoned and now you're ruined until you die. Like,
Also keep in mind too that your third level characters and the rules also do stipulate that you ignore the material cost for spells.
yes, that
So you
dog
don't
is
need that
obnoxious.
50 gold piece gem for chroma headed orb.
Right.
right? That'd be so dumb. Yeah.
So the other thing I'm curious about this, and maybe Defy Danger can clarify. It says Dungeoneers may not buy potions, poisons, all that stuff, and other consumables. Do manacles count as a consumable? Because I love my
I was
manacles.
gonna say manacles would be fun, but
Yes.
I guess that would. Well, yeah, I don't know, man. I guess that is a good point.
Like chain somebody to something or put them together so they can't. Because once you put those things, they're hard to break off.
Yeah, it's like a what is it? DC 20 strength check,
Yeah, and like 15
like thieves tools.
dexterity thieves tools to pop it. Yeah, he says they're
Good
not
rule.
consumed. Shackle them up. Yes,
Oh my god.
because
I
that
would have ruled it.
something like that can take a
Yeah.
player out of the game for a short while they figure it out. Maybe it's only
Mhm.
one round, but that's one less round that they're stabbing your buddy.
Mhm.
So I think that's pretty fantastic.
Could be
Um,
really good against any barbarian, any like fighter, because they're probably more reliant on strength and not dexterity to
mhm,
begin with, so they can't get out.
right.
Could be really interesting.
There are special rules for things such as druid shapeshifting. It's one of the few that doesn't recharge when you respawn.
That makes sense.
Because let's be honest, the druid's wild shape is F and OP. So,
Pretty good.
It can be.
yeah, if you get the circle of the moon and turn into that stupid bear, holy crap! Uh,
Yeah.
but so that stuff like that makes sense. There's a few other ones. I don't want to get too much into it. There is a full on variant for including magical items, which I thought was pretty neat.
Do that.
It's called the referee, not the dungeon master.
Mhm.
The referee can determine whether they want to include magic items, which once again is another way to step up the complexity. I've honestly, if I when I start this, it'll probably be just with the way the rules are, and then
Yeah.
gradually add complexity to it to um, as I move forward. So
It doesn't even say what kind of rarity. I don't think.
Well, I assume that would
Maybe
be
it's up
another
to the
thing.
ref. Yeah.
Yeah, just let the ref determine. So,
Yeah, in his message to Manacles, Carpageddon on YouTube was like, short races run between legs of people and they Manacle their ankles.
oh yes, that's awesome.
Beautiful.
That is expect once again. I'm gonna
Great.
go back to slaughterhouse, man. You can't move because you got ankles around, or you got these ankle bracelets stuck to
That means
you.
you're at a crawl speed, but can you crawl faster than the conveyor belt?
Probably
Probably
not.
not. Yeah, not that one.
Crawl off the conveyor belt. I don't
Could
know.
you? Well, once again,
Right.
well, I guess you could go one way or another. But man, that would be horrible. I would consider that a grappled condition, honestly. If somebody put shackles on your feet, I would consider that a grappled condition until you got it off. So means movement 0.
Yeah.
Could you imagine though watching like a rogue trying to pick the lock and he's getting poor rolls and he's getting closer and closer? Just you can
He's
see,
like, oh no,
you can
please.
see the despair in his eyes.
He dies slowly. He's like, oh,
That's funny.
why is my pick gotta break now? Come on, buddy, you can do it.
I do want to say that this is a very large document at 102 pages. There's an entire section
Nice.
on player strategy,
Oh yeah.
which is glorious. Um, this is something that it really tries to appeal to it's not just all about damage. It's about coordinating. It's about building for your party. Um, but it also says sometimes saying screw it to the general strategy you all agreed upon and go for that sweet, sweet crown of Tesh Naga within reach. Like, save me. It's like the Aladdin scene when he's grabbing, when Jafar is dressed as the old guy, grabbing from hand me the lamp. No, hold me. I'll get it to you. And he just like drops him and takes the lamp from him. That's what I would do to my teammates. I'm like, sorry, guys. Oh, man. That's so horrible, though.
Yeah.
Taunting your players like that to the point where they betray their partners just for a sweet, sweet chance to get revenge on the a-hole that killed them.
Oh man.
And it's a big section on strategy. We're not going to go through it all.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
pretty big.
It is worth noting that multi-classing is allowed. This only includes
Yes.
all official content. It doesn't include Unearthed Arcana or any homebrew stuff.
Which makes
Honestly,
sense.
yeah, I would
Yeah.
honestly not recommend that stuff either because this is balanced around those things.
Right. It's catered towards this already.
Yeah.
You don't want to put in stuff that could potentially be game breaking.
Yeah.
Potentially. I mean, granted, it's at 3rd level, so you probably wouldn't get too many of those things anyway. But still, the point is, we don't want to. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't want to deviate too hard.
Yep, I agree. And there is another section that's all about the referee and tips for how to referee. I'm gonna be honest. You can be a real asshole referee according to this line. The words used are "suffer the wrath of the bloodthirsty referee." Oh man, even so much as punishing them for taking longer than a minute.
Yes. I saw that rule in there. I was like, oh man. Are you gonna? It's like, oh, it took longer than a minute. You're dead. Next turn. Your head explodes in a bloody mess. You're dead. Next turn. Go. You have a
Now,
minute.
there was one part of this that I thought was very awesome. They have an entire section on arena design and how to build really good arenas for this format. And I'm going to be honest. I don't necessarily think that some of this stuff is good tips for just this arena. I think it's good tips for any sort of complex combat uh, where the area is important and has some sort of strong theme. You can utilize these tools to really build something around that,
Hmm.
which I think is pretty sweet.
Okay.
I is there anything else I missed before we get on to what the arenas we
I
picked?
don't think so.
Oh, there's tournament section that helps you build tournament brackets and the
Yeah.
rules to
Yeah.
follow for
I see that.
running tournaments, which is pretty cool. Um, and once again, I'm not going to get into that. You guys can pick this up if you want. Head on over to critacademy.com/post/team deathmatch, maybe, I think. Just go to Crit Academy. It's one of the first blog posts there. It is the first blog post there. You can also pick it up on in the show notes there. Go right to drive through and search up Team Deathmatch. It'll come right up. So now that we've talked about the rules and everything. Now we get to good stuff. The arenas themselves. The arenas are the core of this. If these arenas, I can't say that because even the one you would think would be boring, I think it's like called the plain one, or what is it? Simple. What is the simple one called? Oh, dead simple. Even that one's exciting. But the arenas are pretty integral to making this game exciting because otherwise, just a flat battle mat, you're just beating each other and taking turns, right?
Yep.
The arenas are definitely a huge amount of time has gone into these, and a lot of play test.
And like
So,
of them are definitely inspired by actual 80s arcade games.
which I thought was hilarious.
Yep.
Absolutely.
There's definitely a Pac-Man one in there.
Yep. So now, there are some. While each arena has its own kind of unique theme and effect, there are certain effects that are just part of the entire all the arenas. They're common terrain effects, and
Mhm.
and can I just say that I absolutely think humiliation is hilarious. So when a creature rolls a natural one on an attack roll or a saving throw, a harmful effect is placed on the creature immediately after the attacker saving throw is wrong. Now that's specific to every arena. So for instance, in the meat grinder with, let's say, moving floors towards your death, being knocked prone as a part of rolling poorly is bad.
Yeah.
It is
Gotta
really
use your
bad.
movement to get back up, man.
And now I'm gonna be honest. I was a little concerned about this. At higher levels, something like this would be a problem. But since you don't get too many multi attacks, that's less of a problem. That's why critical failures aren't great in 5e for the fighter who gets more proficient but then fails more, right?
Mhm.
But that's
Right.
not an issue since everyone really only has one attack except for maybe the druid with multi attack. But
Yeah.
what are some of the other common terrain effects you guys liked? I know we talked about respawning.
Like we've seen conveyor belts, there's lava.
Yeah.
Yeah. Forced teleportation is a thing,
Yeah.
which I
That
thought
that
was
that,
cool.
that felt very. That reminded me of like Halo when you have all those like teleporters and you can kind of just walk through and go, "You're there." That's how it always reminded me. I don't know why, but that's just how it always reminded me of it.
uh,
So
Another cool effect is the killing spree.
I was just looking at that.
I
Yeah.
think if you two or more enemies with a one hit point either drop to 0 hit points or die on your turn, you gain inspiration. That is really cool, and I am totally stealing that. Like
That is
that is cool.
dope.
I would
Yeah.
have to get a thing on my get on the little Halo guy on my phone. Killing spree.
I thought it was
uh,
from Quake 3.
what's that?
That was from Quake 3.
It might be from both. I definitely know it happens
Yeah.
in Halo, and it does happen in Halo and Quake, doesn't it? I think it
Yeah.
does. Different guy, but anyway.
Oh
So
wow! Oh wait, that's not all. You don't just gain inspiration. You can take another action and completely recharge any one class feature or single level of spell slots.
yes, it's dope.
Wow,
Blood for
that
the
is
blood god.
yeah, hell yeah. Okay.
Unquenching thirst for blood, huh? So that's
Oh my
pretty sweet. That makes every fireball mage happy.
yes.
Actually, I don't think you can get fireball at that
I
level, so
don't think
never
so
mind.
Nope.
either. But it was just the first thing that came to my mind. Like, oh
Scorch,
yeah, just burn everything.
scorching.
One
All right.
with hands.
Also, I don't know. I have to ask Defy Danger. Is it hard to resist every start of match saying Mortal Kombat? Like I would have to every single game play that theme, and when he's got him up to the edge of the slaughterhouse, about to drop him in the blades. Finish it.
Finisher.
Every stupid little joke. Ready, fight.
Right.
That's a good one. All right, so let's move on to the arenas that we chose. I'm really excited about mine, but I think I will let you guys go first.
Okay.
Ian,
Uh,
Austin, would you like to tell us about yours?
Sure. So this one is called. Oh man, what is it? One more time. Mutiny on the Hellstrider. Okay, I remember the first word mutiny. I didn't remember Hellstrider, but it's more towards the bottom here on
80.
page 80. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Um,
Control F, baby.
very. It's a very simple map. It's just basically you're on a ship, but you're on a ship that is encased pretty much around lava, and that's where the fun begins. So the two things that obviously got me One was the crow's nest. So there's an occupying the crow's nest grants half cover from attacks on the main deck, and it grants full cover from attacks originating from areas within 5 feet of the mast or from the stern castle cabin. So if anyone's trying to shoot you, well, you could just kind of, I'm up here, you can't get me, and that's just it. And then the other one was, of course, the lava lake, which is super exciting. The Hell's Rider sails through a lava sea in the elemental chaos where the planes of fire and earth meet. Any creature that falls in the sea is instantly killed.
Ha!
Flying creatures are not immune to the lava's intense heat. Any creature entering or starting their turn flying or floating above the space of lava takes 30 fire damage.
Can we just take a second these include ways to deal with people who can fly?
Mm-hmm. Isn't that beautiful?
Yeah.
I love it. So pretty much you're just forced to fight on the ship, and if you don't fight on the ship, well, you'll die soon anyway, so it's okay.
That would be hilarious having a fly guy get away and somebody using like is it earthen grasp or something that forces them to a flying speed of 0 and they just crash in the lava and die. Be like, yeah, sorry, bro.
Another cool little feature is that there is geysers of lava in this as well, and it requires a dexterity saving throw. If they fail, you're probably gonna die because you take 25 fire damage and an additional 10 fire damage at the start of the creature's turns until they succeed
Savage.
on the DC 13 dexterity saving throw. Which DC 13 dexterity? That's not super bad.
Yeah, but how often is that going to happen with a whole crew?
Right. I guess that's really up to the ref. I don't really. It doesn't really. Is it like a
Yeah,
spot on the thing? I don't really.
I don't really know.
Yeah, I don't see
I
anything that specifically says where, how, but
Creatures on the crow's nest may command the lava in the lake, calling
oh,
geysers.
there it is. Gotcha. It was
there's
like
an on switch. There's a lava burst on switch. That's
that
awesome.
is what?
I do think it's really cool that wheel ability. A dungeoneer can actually force the ship into a tight turn and slide or pull all the creatures up to 20 feet, pushing them towards the edge, which means you could just prod them off the edge.
Yep.
That's
There's
cool.
also there's so much on these arenas.
There
There's
is.
still more. So there's an arcane ballista. You just
Boom, boom,
look
boom.
at a guy and you gun him down real quick, kind of like the turrets and any first-person shooter. You just kind of handle it real quick. You're like, handle this, bucko.
And it has a plus 10 to hit. That is huge for a level 3.
It's
Yep.
gonna hurt someone.
15 force damage is knock prone, and all creatures within 5 feet of target take 5 thunder damage.
Just big ol'
Boom.
crackle. Yeah. And then, of
Thunder.
course-
Da, 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 da.
And then, of course, there is the Pirate's Plunder. So, not on top of all this to begin with, there is a treasure chest. Well, there's treasure chests, plural, found in the captain's quarters that contain powerful magic items stolen from far-off worlds. On top of it
Awesome.
all.
Yes.
So you could just, oh yeah, I found a flame bird in this ship. And I'm gonna stab somebody and they're gonna explode.
So this is really interesting, and we haven't talked about it yet. There is an entire deck of cards
Oh, yes,
called
yes.
the 5 TDM magic item deck. So basically, when you pull an item out as a bonus action, you draw from that, and it tells you what you have. So that to me is
There's
another
some
layer
really
of cool.
too.
Yeah.
There's like some other stuff for like for the rest of the match you take like half damage or something like that. And it's just like, okay.
You know, if you kill somebody though, they drop the item. So once again, everyone becomes Hunger Games and they can charge in and try to fight for it, which
That'd be
makes
so awesome.
smooth picking for that rogue with the bow and arrow. Just hey, I'm just gonna take aim.
Yeah, I'm just gonna sit here and get like sneak attack like 500 times because everyone just keeps walking towards the magic item.
Right. Overall, I think this is a fantastic arena
I just love the idea
It's-
of fighting on a ship in lava.
in the elemental chaos.
It's so great.
And what's cool, once again, this is designed for PvP, but you totally could take these mechanics on your trip as they're sailing through the elemental chaos. Hey, I'm gonna take that and use that. Boom.
Yeah, I'm on the Hellstrider. What's your D&D campaign? Oh, we're in Hell. What are you doing? Oh, we're on a Hellstrider in the elemental planes of chaos. It's cool.
Defy Danger says every DC is 13 because it sounded more metal. DC 13. Yeah.
All right.
Overall, what do you think, Ian?
I think it gives a lot of variety to use, and liquid hot magma. What more is there to
Ah,
say?
I just love magma. It's so
yes.
cool. I just love the idea. I'm gonna take this guy and throw him in lava, and he will die. There's no way around it. He's going to die.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh, but you know
Um,
what? It'd be interesting because I think didn't it say like they don't die immediately if they some people? No, it is instantly killed. I was
no,
gonna
they're
say
dead.
yeah, but I guess if you're flying and you're a tiefling somehow, so like if you're a flying tiefling,
So,
you could take half the fire damage, right?
I would think so, yeah, because you have
Because
resistance to
it's
fire, right?
30.
Half of
Yeah.
100, still 50.
Yeah, that's still a lot. Can we just take a second? We mentioned humiliations. Did you guys see what the humiliation was for this?
Mm-mm.
The referee gets to control the arcane ballista and blast the player. Yes.
Could you imagine like this ethereal, like godlike being descending real quick, and he just goes,
What do you got against me? You knocked over my soda. All right.
"The performance was pitiful, and you gotta die for it. I don't make the rules. I'm just the ref."
I think that'll do it for Mutiny on the Hellstrider. I think this was a great choice. Well, they're actually all great choices.
There-
So,
there- this is just one of many.
many,
Yeah,
yeah.
there's all these are great.
Ian, would you like to tell us about the one you picked?
I picked the Citadel.
Ooh, that's a
Sounds
good
so
one.
dope.
Why don't you
Also,
tell us about it?
the description is as follows: forget the enemy at the gates. There are enemies on all sides of you inside this ruined fortress. Take the high ground, seize the siege weapons, and pin your opponents in the lava before they can do the same to you.
I like the theme we have going on.
Yeah, if you
I
finish your
was
dumb
looking
plot,
at
we
the
both
YouTube.
take that stuff with siege weapons and lava.
I fucking love it. I love the look of this one too. Can I just say that real quick? I love the cracked lava river in the middle. Oh man, this stuff is so cool.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
what are some cool features about this that really dropped? Obviously, we talked about there being ballistas, um,
Yeah.
and siege weapons. Is there anything particularly that makes them interesting?
I'm trying to get there, but it's not letting me search for some reason.
Page 33.
Page 33.
No, I know where it's on. It just wouldn't let me type in Citadel
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
for some strange reason. Anyway,
that's weird.
throughout the middle of the fortress is a river of lava passing through, and there's stairs have rubble on them, which cause difficult terrain. There are siege weapons in play, and there are castle walls that actually have pockmarks, so you can climb on them.
That's
That's
cool.
dope. Oh, that'd
There,
be so cool. You can be like a rogue and like Spider-Man up real quick and just wait for a guy, and you're like, I'm gonna get him.
and the siege weapons are pretty fun too. One of them, for example, is a gelatinous cube catapult.
Yes. You launch gelatinous cubes at people.
And you have the ballista, which fires either a harpoon to reel in enemies after you shoot them and damage them, or the ramming bolt that knocks them backwards.
Well, let's just go back to the gelatinous cube real quick. I just want to read this. It says, I want to read this real quick because the first sentence is beautiful. Launch a sticky, caustic blob at an unsuspecting foe and watch as it gets pinned and slowly digested.
Yes,
They
that's
get
hot.
eaten by the cube?
Yeah,
That's what cubes do. So
that's what they do. They melt you from the out. Yeah, it's savage,
That is dope. Oh my
but
god.
it's not as metal as DC-13.
Yeah, not as well as DC-13, guys, remember.
So there's a couple different other ballistas on here.
Oh my god.
What'd you say? The harpoon bolt, which basically
reels them in.
reels them
Yeah,
in.
yoinks them.
Get over here! See more of that Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, it's just.
That's funny.
And then a
And the
ramming
ramming
bolt.
bolt that pushes them backwards. We got the cauldron of hot grubs.
What?
Cauldron of Rot Grubs.
Rock
It's,
grubs.
it's a desperate and devastating continuous ritual summons these grubs from a deep nether plane of infestation and disease.
Sounds like a hooker's legs.
You're not wrong.
Come infested with oh my oh.
Yes. That's right. I'm going to necrotic damage. 10 each turn.
Ah,
Constitution saving throw for all those punks that don't put points into Con. Though I
I don't know
think
why you
everyone
would.
probably would in this.
I was gonna say you don't need intelligence or anything, so well maybe you don't.
Well,
Maybe
that
you do
we'll
in the
get
future.
there.
Yeah.
For the record, on the map, there's 4 corners. Each corner has one of the siege weapons we mentioned, but last, but certainly not least, one corner has the legendary sword, Black Razor.
Yes,
Sounds dope. See this.
That's right, that Black
the
Razor.
legendary Black Razor. That is awesome. See, this is another thing that I think is cool about these. It allows you to experiment with things that you probably wouldn't toss into your game, whether it's a magic item or a special feature or a monster or what have you.
Yep. Oh, and a side note, the abilities that Black Razor has, especially in this scenario, is Bloodthirst, gain advantage on all weapon and spell attack rolls made against enemies with 10 hit points or fewer. Keep in
Ouch.
mind you're at third
Third
level.
level, right?
Jeez.
There's a Soul Stealer. You may kill one adjacent unconscious creature with no action. And if you do, you also may spend one hit die to heal.
Oh my gosh. This is
And Frostbite. This is a hit die and make a spell attack using your charisma with proficiency range 20 feet. On that hit, deal 20 cold and necrotic damage. On the miss, you take 10 cold and necrotic.
That
10
is so
cold and necrotic.
cool.
so
I
cool.
just I just want to talk about Soul Stealer real quick. So, one adjacent unconscious creature. So does that mean just if you knocked a guy to 0 hit points, you're just
Yes.
like, oh well, now you die.
Now you're dead.
Literally.
No death saves. Yep.
What?
Because going to 0 doesn't mean you're dead. Going into a
No,
grinder
right.
or into lava does.
Right.
But you're still unconscious, which means, uh, see, that's what's interesting though. Think about that. That can become a strategy. Unless maybe Defy Danger can clarify, maybe I didn't see it, but if you're unconscious and they just drag around your unconscious body and don't let the players heal you or tend to you, are you out of combat? Are you now you can't respawn because you're not dead, right?
but there's a respawn
Yeah.
action, so.
Is there?
But I
Huh.
thought you had to be dead for that, right? I guess maybe Defy Danger. If you're at
Yep.
if you're at 0 hit points, you can choose to respawn. All right,
So,
Okay.
right.
but
Can't exploit the game rules.
yeah, I was trying.
So it's not like the Black Razor from the book, but you can still do pretty fun things with the scenario with it.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
absolutely. Crazy.
So the one thing that I really think makes this just very cool is the fact that the the area in the siege weapons change the terrain. Specifically, it sounds like each siege weapon is impassable terrain, but does not block line of sight. So could you drag that around and block people in? Could you literally use it less as a weapon and more of like a barricade?
I think they're stuck in place.
Yeah, that'd be interesting though.
Maybe. I don't know.
Anyways, I think this is another fantastic one. Once again, all this is going on while you're trying to deal with the other players.
Yeah.
So your goal is to fight for the magic item. Defy Danger did clarify you can't normally move terrain. So that does clarify that because that's the first thing I thought. Oh, hey, look, it blocks terrain. I'm block you in. You can burn to death, biatch.
Yeah. Jeez.
Do we have any other comments on this one here?
No, I think we covered a good chunk of it. It's just man, there's a lot to take in on a lot of these arenas.
Yeah.
But I guess that's what makes them so exciting,
Yes.
right? There's just so much going on.
Now, of all of them, in my opinion, this is the least interesting map design. But that does not make it the least interesting arena. In fact, in my opinion, this is the most interesting arena. But that's just my opinion. It is called called Run. How you got here is irrelevant. All that matters is you stayed ahead of the creeping death behind, dodging the nefarious traps, and kicking down the fuzzling doors ahead. Does it say puzzling? Puzzling?
Puzzling.
I
Yep.
gotta zoom in a little bit. I'm getting old. Kicking down the puzzling doors ahead, that and crushing your enemies. Who knows? The next door may even lead out of this evil place. Spoiler, it won't.
stuck forever.
So for run, it's basically an endless hallway. And so as you run down it, there's a couple different things that happen. First, let's start off with the death that's approaching. Um, there is a wall of spheres of annihilation that are
Ew.
moving in every round. What makes it worse is it's like half the distance of the room. So you don't have much time to get the hell out. So in this thing, what's more important, killing the guy next to you or getting through the damn door?
I
How about
imagine most cases it's just getting through the door, right? That sounds tough.
no,
All
shoving
that.
the guy next to you and then running for the door,
That's true.
or
Still,
That's
tripping
true.
them.
yeah, that takes an action though.
Knock prone run.
Sorry, it's a constellation. It's plural. It's a collection of sentient spheres of annihilation. But anyways, it's moving in to catch you, right? And so that's problem number one. Never mind, every map consists of an infinite number of rooms that have trap gauntlets in them. And each trap is 20 foot by 4 squares. Now, mind you, the entire room, 5, 10, 15, 20, is 40 feet long. So, and 20
That's
feet
the whole
wide.
thing.
It's the whole thing, right?
So,
Um,
what if monks might have an advantage with this one?
yes.
I guess thieves
Now,
could do well too because they have second story work, right? So
yes.
they could hop over any difficult terrain, really.
Or
So,
dash as a bonus action.
and
Mm-hmm.
and so now you just cued in on or keyed in onto something that I think is very important that's about this. You guys immediately went to motion features and abilities that are utility for movement, not damage. Because in this run, damage isn't king at all.
There's no reason to have it. You could just throw the guy behind you and be like, "All right, you're probably gonna die soon, so I'll see you later."
But that's also part of it, right? So you've got the traps themselves that also need to be overcome. So you might have one person trying to deal with the traps while another person's trying to deal with the door. Because guess what? The doors don't just open. So that gets into why I love this one. So every single time you enter a room, you can either choose to roll or you can pick a different trap. But there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 8 different types of traps that can form in these, including 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 different door types, ranging from an adamantine portcullis of impalement. All right? How about how about let me see if I can figure out where that was at, and I'll read that one. So this door is 4 squares wide. It provides half cover, but does not block line of sight or line of effect.
Hmm.
An adjacent creature can raise the portcullis as a bonus action. Now, that's another thing that's worth noting is that there's a lot of things that have been altered to bonus actions, so you can still use your regular action. That's important, and I think that's what really adds to the options in the game too.
Alright, this is
Mhm.
hilarious. Carmageddon on YouTube says, double spoiler, the door at the end is a mimic.
Oh God, no.
It's all just awful. Everything's wrong.
So after you open it, it slams shut and makes the following attack. If any creature, any point, uh, it slams shut after you open it and makes the following attack if at any point 0 creatures are standing upright adjacent to the door. So if you're not standing next to the door, it attacks. For the +7 hit, the targeting all creatures below the door. On a hit, the target takes 10 piercing damage and is knocked prone and is restrained with an escape DC of 13. Creatures restrained in this way take additional piercing damage at the end of their turns. On a miss, the creature moves 5 feet to the left of the door.
It's not that they're restrained; they're impaled.
Right?
Oh my god, that is so awesome. I
and
love it.
and some of them come with some really cool stuff. Like you have the icon of Sin Door. It's a 5-foot door, and the door features a mural of a colossal undead chimera thrashing through a lush jungle with its jaws open wide. Creatures within the trap gauntlet cannot heal hit points.
Uh-oh.
A creature adjacent to the door must succeed a saving throw, intelligence religion check, to unlock the door.
Better have that wizard in your party. And hope he made it past the
Right,
the
wizard or
custom
cleric
version of
or somebody.
annihilation.
Right, yeah. And it says once per turn, the adjacent divine spellcaster may expend a spell slot as a free action. The door unlocks after 3 spell slots are expended in it. That is
Oh,
such a
jeez.
cool way to open the door. The rogue can't do it unless it's arcane
Yeah.
trickster. Maybe they wouldn't have enough spell slots. They can help. So
Yeah.
you're basically funneling your magical resource, which would be used to blow people up, to open a door.
Shoot, a warlock couldn't do it either.
Yeah. Warlock
Yeah,
can't
yeah.
do it.
Sorry, you got one. Sorry, you should out of luck.
Yeah.
But a team effort could, right? One warlock cantrip and one arcane trickster. You could probably get there.
Hmm.
But what happens if none of your characters are spellcasters?
Yeah. What if you didn't prepare any intelligence
Then
on
guess
your
what
team?
happens? You die.
Better hope you roll high. Yeah. 'Cause-
What are you gonna roll? To my understanding, there's no other way to open this door. It's just that it requires that to unlock it. So
no,
what happens?
you can unlock the door with a DC 13 intelligence check. So you just have to hope you
Oh,
roll
okay,
high
I
enough.
gotcha. You'd have to get the check high enough. So those are the 2 different
Yeah.
ways you can open it. You're right. I misread that, which is stupid because I read it out loud. Ah,
No, I do that all the
but
time.
still, man. So what is the most common dump stat though?
Probably intelligence in this case. Yeah.
I would think
There's
so.
there's no way I'd choose intelligence if I'm playing like a rogue or something. Like, nah, I'm gonna dump it. I'm gonna dump that, and I'm gonna dump probably wisdom because I don't think I need it.
Right,
Why do I? Why would I need to perceive things?
and honestly, that's one of the reasons why I like this one, because it's not just about how well you can kill somebody, but how well you can survive and what skills you can use to bypass traps. You know,
I do want to talk about one of the traps when we're
okay, go
done.
ahead, pick one. I was actually gonna pick one, but if you've got one already, you want to talk about, let's do it.
This one just sounds awesome. It's called the Blackfire Jets. It's the snarling stone demon faces set into the walls vomit forth a fountain of soul draining black pitch. Those hit by the Blackfire are wreathed in icy black flames that consume their life force as a campfire consumes air.
That's cool.
Each creature in the trap gauntlet loses all hit dice and must succeed on a DC 13 charisma saving throw or take 5 cold and 5 necrotic damage.
Ooh,
You just lose all your
savage.
hit dice.
Yeah, you're boned.
Like,
You're boned.
you're there.
No
And I
recoveries.
imagine charisma might also be another dump set for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Because, I need to talk to people, right?
Yeah. I'm just running in a dungeon.
Right.
And what's cool is there's so many of these different things that you can combine and randomly that every room will be different for a long time. I don't know how
Mm-hmm.
many possible combinations that is, but anyways, that was my pick. I absolutely love this thing. Like I said, I've been using this theme very often for my solo testing, play testing. Obviously, I don't put all the traps and stuff, but I put monsters in it and stuff and other things. But this inspired this. I call it the endless hallway when I do it, but
Hmm.
it's just a really cool idea. And once again, it's one of the ones that's not all about combat. And there are over 20 of these things. So,
There's a
uh,
lot. There's
and
quite a bit.
what was the humiliation for this one? I forgot. Let's go check.
They trip and the constellation yanks him 15 feet.
Oh no!
So it just feels like they just start sliding
It's like
backwards.
a black hole
Yeah, that's not
sucking you
good.
in. Yeah,
At
don't.
least I think that's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it
Well,
is.
yep.
That's horrible.
So
Like
don't do
now
that.
somebody's got to go and catch your buddy, you know? So,
Nah, he's dead. I'm leaving him.
all right. Do you guys have any other points you want to discuss on this bad boy?
No, I think we
I
got
think
it.
we covered it. Some
Yeah.
pretty good stuff.
I guess I do want to point out, like, I love how these are all just like hellscape demi-planes in the middle of nothing.
Right.
You're just stuck in this empty void. And you're like, oh, by the way, now you're in a house. There's no way outside of the house, and there's a grinder on the bottom floor. Good luck. Bye.
True.
Just
I
crazy. Love it.
Yeah, and once again, you can if you this sounds like something you want to do. So here's my plan. My plan is to run in this Patreon, this month's patron game, us against our patrons. So we'll see how that goes. I'll probably be the referee, so it might be you guys, but I think it'll be
Right.
fun. We'll see if that's something they want to do. I wanted this episode to record and air before I talked about it, but All right, I think that'll do it for our main topic, the 5th edition Team Deathmatch. What a
Very
great
cool,
product.
though.
Very cool, and it's a different take. And I know there's some people that want something like this. So,
Oh yeah, easily.
all right, before we move on to our Honor tips and tricks, Ian, would you tell us about another wonderful gift we are giving away? And I'll be back in a sec.
Giveaway by Jeff Stevens, Encounter of the Savage Seas 2. Revolutionize your game with its collection of 16 mini adventures, which include NPCs, locations, new creatures, and magic items to add to your nautical adventure. And with all that said, our winner today for this is Your Photo Man 1.
Woo!
Now, for those of you who didn't win, not a problem. Head to createacademy.com/Jeff Stevens and get Encounters of the Savage Seas #3 for absolutely free.
Yeah.
Great.
Don't you guys love us? We have awesome connections. We got the hookup.
I, I, I hope they love us.
I hope so. We get some nice emails and messages occasionally. So,
That's cool.
all right.
Hey, that's all I need, man. Occasionally. Doesn't have to be often.
Now, what you've all been waiting for, our unearthed tips and tricks, where we bring you new and reusable material for both DMs and players. Um, Ian, would you like to tell us about your character concept here?
Our character concept today is followed by death.
Fucking awesome.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yep. This character should be dead. Not necessarily due to living a dangerous lifestyle as an adventurer, but their scheduled demise has passed, and yet they remain living here. They're not sure how they escaped their original fate. Perhaps they somehow gained the divine favor of a god without their knowledge. Maybe they just happened to be in the right place at the right time. When an accident with a few rubber bands, a liquid lunch, and magically created particle accelerators went off during any alchemist experiment. Perhaps something was screwing around with the fabric of the cosmos itself at the moment. Or maybe they're just plain lucky. No matter the cause, Death himself does not like it when somebody escapes their fate, and has taken a personal interest in this adventure and follows them around, interested in collecting their soul. Personally.
Ooh.
I like this.
And you just and you just and he just can't pass this off as some ordinary reaper at this point. Death won't directly try to kill them. He won't be unfair about it. That doesn't mean he won't cheer on every near miss that almost takes off the Avengers' head with an earshot. But he certainly might voice his displeasure as they evade the afterlife yet again. He has a schedule to keep, after all.
That's
I
hilarious.
love it.
I do
I
too.
could totally see this being a divine soul sorcerer.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
something I could easily see. Because the whole gimmick is that they just somehow spring back to life, right? Because they were just born this way.
No, they didn't spring back to life. They just somehow evaded death.
Yeah.
This is very much some Final Destination shit. And so death is out to get you every single time.
Could you imagine if you were like a warlock of the Undying Pact and you're just like,
Oh, nice.
That's kind of like looking at you like,
Come on,
like
man.
maybe it's Death's wife. You're like, honey, what are you doing? You're keeping him alive. He
Now,
needs
I'll
to
admit the
die."
inspiration for this was the Discworld book, The Color of Magic, which I read last week. And there's like at one point where like the character in question is holding onto some branches with like a pack of wolves underneath him, and Death is just saying, "Going, you could just let go; it won't hurt, you know."
It won't hurt.
Yes, it will. Oh, come on, man! I got places to be.
That's great.
I love it. I think you did a great job with this, Ian.
This is a great character concept.
Maybe I'm just gonna put you in charge of character concept because they're better than mine.
I just, hey man, we're it's got to cycle through, right? Except it'll never hit me because I never have good character concepts. So I'm just like, I have my character ideas, but that's really about it.
All right. I think that'll do it for our character concept. Austin, would you like to tell us about our monster variant?
Absolutely. So our monster variant today is the Blood Toll Harpy. When harpies demand a toll to cross through their territory, consider yourself lucky if they permit payment in coin.
Ah,
Mostly because they don't usually do coin, right? Usually it's like favors or something. think. Or-
This case, I think they want your soul, but yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
this,
in this case, I guess soul, but the origin is Vrock.
yeah, it's one of the monsters.
Okay. I was like, this is a monster, really? I didn't know
It
that.
is. Yeah, I've never used it before. It's the
I
first
was gonna
time.
say I've never heard of this one.
It's like a demon,
Um,
one of the demons or devils or something.
okay. Oh, yeah, maybe I have then. But anyway, the changes you lose the beak and spores, but you gain a new feature. You get draining aura, which already sounds cool. It's a recharge on a 5 or 6. The harpy radiates an aura in a 10-foot radius, lasting for 2 rounds, which is kind of cool. I like it lasts more than one. That draws out all fluids out through a creature's mouth, nose, eyes, ears, and pores. Ow. Every creature in the harpy's choosing that starts its turn in the affected area takes 14 or 4d6 necrotic damage or half damage with a successful DC 14 Constitution saving throw. And then it also gains Luring Song. The harpy sings a magical melody. Every humanoid and giant within 300 feet of the harpy that can hear the song must succeed on a DC 14 Wisdom saving throw or be charmed until the song ends. The harpy must take a bonus action on its subsequent turns to continue singing, and can stop singing at any time the song ends if the harpy is incapacitated. While charmed by the harpy, a target is incapacitated and ignores the songs of other harpies. If the charmed target is more than 5 feet away from the harpy, it must move on its turn toward the harpy by the most direct route. It doesn't avoid opportunity attacks, but before moving into damaging terrain, such as lava or a pit, and whenever it takes damage from a source other than the harpy, a target can repeat the saving throw. A creature can also repeat the saving throw at the end of each of its turns. If a creature's saving throw is successful, the effect ends on it, of course. A target that successfully saves is immune to this harpy's song for the next 24 hours. So,
So
very bonkers.
yeah, so you have an ability that draws enemies in to an AOE effect.
I love it. That is cool.
Just
I also
imagine the
love how
description
it's.
of it.
I love. Oh, excuse me. I love how it's the absolute most direct route. If it means wading through this swamp that's infested with like gators or something, sorry, bud, you gotta go through
Oh, you shit out of luck.
it.
This was really fun. So this was based off of another Theros card. It's a black card, I think, black creature card. And it had this really. It didn't really show me what the blood tool was, so I was like, well, I know I can find some features in some of my books that might fit it, and I found this draining thing from I think it was one from my Cobalt books. I think it was called something else though, and I changed it up a little bit. But love the idea of luring them in with magic that they can't resist, and once they get to a certain point, they have to start making the save because the moisture is being drained out. You could use moisture; it could be their blood being drained out of their.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
that
imagine it
sounds
would be
better.
blood.
Yeah, that sounds even better.
Just,
Draws
uh,
blood
just
out.
blood being broken out of your veins or something. It's just like, oh, that's rough, bud. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You're probably gonna die.
It's a pretty straightforward monster, but it's a higher level. Like the original harpy has a really low uh, CR. I think this one's like a CR 5 maybe. So it's pretty potent, but is a great way to scare the piss out of your characters
Oh
and
yeah, because
players.
they I love the idea of making players just lose control of their characters, and they kind of just have to sit in the back seat
They're
as the
dying.
DM kind of takes the reins on them.
That's terrifying.
It is, and that's I like how it kind of drives that point home.
Well, I think would be interesting too is some of the party's going to succeed, and they're going to start seeing what happens. So, are they going to make it an effort, a priority to kill this thing, or are they going to try to stop their friends from approaching and and turning to their side? I guess I don't know.
Right. Hmm.
It's very interesting. What do you think, Ian?
I'd hate to, as we established already, fight this thing in difficult terrain or damaging terrain.
Right, that would suck.
We gotta wade through it.
Wade in the water. All right, that'll do it for our monster variant, the Blood Tool Harpy. Our encounter of the podcast is the Arcane Disruption. So,
Woo.
if you've heard about it, one of my favorite games before it got shut down because people are pansies is WildStar. And there's a fight in it that totally inspired this. Arcane Disruption is a battle that when a battle takes place in a wizard's tower, he has a powerful arcane crystal in the center of the room that he's been, you know, some, charging full of some sort of energy, arcane or otherwise. Could be fire, whatever element you decide you want. And during a fight with the characters, the wizard can release the power, causing it to spin and like blast all around the room during the fight. So it becomes kind of like a legendary action that the entire time, every turn, I would say less legendary action in every person's turn, it moves so far and people have to constantly move to avoid it or they got to disable it while they're fighting a wizard. So instead of giving the wizard a bunch of minions to deal with, you have this, spinning beam of energy in a circle around the room that the players either have to constantly run with so they don't get hit, or maybe you put it up a little bit higher and they got to duck below it. That would get rid of the movement though. But and so they got to try to. I can just imagine a rogue or a wizard trying to disable it while running in circles next to it, like running around trying to pick it and break it apart. It's definitely a way to push a lot of movement into your battle. And
Yeah.
it makes that very important. What do you guys think of something like that? I think you
Uh,
fought something similar. I think once maybe.
I mean, it's definitely good to have something on the field there that can throw off players, as well as pay attention to the bad guy.
Yeah.
could could you give the wizard like hold person so it has to hold in there
Yes.
and the players have to like break out or like maybe another player's to be like, hey man, I gotta move you real quick.
Absolutely.
That would be cool.
Because you could do it where maybe the wizard doesn't have any like very powerful offensive abilities,
Right. It's all
and
like
so it's all stored in this. But he has spells to manipulate the players into doing it. Charm
or like
the
command.
charm the barbarian to hold the other wizard. You know.
Oh, that'd be cool.
So I don't know. What do you guys think? You think this
I
would be
like it.
interesting?
Yeah.
Or thunder wavy player into the damaging area.
Ooh, that's good too because it pushes them back. Any sort of movement ability like that.
Yeah. And
Eldritch
it makes
Blast.
yeah.
His laughter.
Yes.
I would like this because it makes movement a natural thing. Usually, movement whenever I'm in encounters is almost an afterthought sometimes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because usually I'm in like a big old plains or something. But this makes it so it's always on my mind, where I'm like I have to make sure I move out of this thing. Maybe he has another spell that might make me do this, so I might have to position myself way over here. This would be kind of fun to play on like with like figurines and stuff.
Yeah. I think if I did this, I would run the beams in two directions. So they
Okay.
move like this, like a giant laser fan.
Okay.
That would be cool.
I like it. Yeah.
So I don't know. That might show up in one of your games. We'll see.
Right.
That'll do it for our encounter of the podcast, the Arcane Disruption.
That's cool. I like it.
Our magic item of the podcast is another item from Theros. I'm starting to sense a theme, Justin.
Yeah.
The figurine of the opaline unicorn. Furfuros once loved Nilia, the god of the hunt. His passion inspired his most astounding work of art. So this, anybody that's read the Dritz series has seen his panther companion that comes out of a small little panther idol, right? This is the same thing. It's a wondrous item, very rare. A figurine of the opaline unicorn is a statuette of a small beast that can fit in your pocket. I'm not going to read the whole thing. You can pick up the item if you want. But basically, you can speak a command word and you can summon this creature. What it summons is a unicorn for a limited amount of time. So when you summon it, it summons a unicorn for up to 8 hours, and the unicorn only can fight and defend itself. Once used, it can't be used again until a 10-day. There's a bunch of other rules that go with this, but I honestly don't want to read through it all. But to me, this is something that I've not used any of these in my games yet. And as a fan of Dritz, you think I would have done that. And I don't know why I haven't. But one thing I noticed is that this really made me realize that I need to do that. What do you guys think? It's pretty simple, right? Summon a unicorn.
Yeah, it's like a lot of the text in here is really just like uh like mandatory text that you kind of have to like set down like the framework of what the rules are for this, right? Because really all it is like you summon a unicorn and it fights.
Yeah, the rest of the text is just the specifics on the rules
Yeah,
because
like this is the mechanics. You can't do this during stuff like that.
I didn't used to do that, but then as I started posting, I was like, you know what? I save myself a lot of work if I write it all out right.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what do you think the biggest advantage of summoning a unicorn that can't fight is?
I can write it.
Oh, that's one.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe that was the one. Damn. What? I don't
No,
know.
that's not. Let's take a look about one of its abilities called Healing Touch that it can use 3 times a day. It can touch another creature and it mystically heals for 2d8 plus 2.
Skip it.
It also removes all diseases and
Oh,
neutralizes poisons and afflictions.
okay.
So that's a pretty
I guess you forget
huge
that a
thing.
unicorn is a magical horse,
Yep,
not just a horse.
with a horn, yeah.
Yeah.
It also is very intelligent at an int of 11, but it also has spells such as Druidcraft, Detect Good and Evil, Pass Without a Trace, Calm Emotion, Entangle. So while it can't be used directly for combat, the powers that it does have are super beneficial to the party in a multitude of ways. Now,
Hmm.
it's worth noting that once you use this, though, it's for 8 hours, which is great. Except you can only use it once. It doesn't recharge until another 10 days later.
Yeah,
So that's a long time.
it's a while, yeah. But I
So
guess that's the point.
it's the trade off. So
Yeah.
that's kind of how it works. What do you think, Ian?
Instant transportation that heals you. Can't complain.
That's all he thinks about. He's like, yeah, it heals me and transfer. Great, great. All right.
It's also a source of food.
No.
No? Oh.
you,
Can't eat unicorn?
you probably could, but it's an intelligent creature. I don't think it's going to let you.
That's true.
It's
I
like,
never think
no,
about
stop.
that.
Don't eat my leg. Please don't. Oh my
Man.
gosh. Anyways,
That took a darker road than I thought it would. Because I was like, it's just a unicorn. It's not intelligent.
took
But
it
no, it
there.
is intelligent.
it's like, no, please don't burn me. Put me back in my statue. Which actually isn't in a statue. They actually get summoned from another plane of existence, I think.
That's cool.
All right. If it's anything like the Dritstone, I guess. I didn't.
Yeah.
Anyways, that'll do it for our magic item, the figurine of the Opaline unicorn.
Mm.
Carbagen asked, what if you cast polymorph on it?
I
Uh,
guess you could, right?
I okay. That just changes it into something else. So what? So it can. What's
Or you're a
he?
high-level wizard.
It says just because it can't attack doesn't mean a barbarian can't shove people into its horn. That's funny. I
That's,
I can see that.
I didn't think about that.
I don't know about that. I mean, it's well, what I don't remember which abilities
I
it
mean, it's not a
has.
unicorn, so why not?
I mean, it's got magical resistances, so it would be really hard to. Well, willing if it's willing, I guess
Yeah.
it might be
And-
willing.
I mean, it's intelligent. You can talk to it.
Yeah, I would
Hey,
still think it would
unicorn.
disappear.
Hey, unicorn, I'm gonna turn you into a dragon. You cool with that?
Oh, he said he's saying the polymorph was for the wizard tower thing.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
That makes more sense. What do you gain
My-
from it, really?
well, portable
Still gone in
unicorn.
8 hours.
Yeah. Anyways, I think that'll do for our magic item. What the hell was this thing called again? I forgot.
You
The
named it.
figurine of the opaline unicorn.
I did not name it. It was from Theros card.
Okay, you
Yeah.
chose it. Close enough.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Ian, would you like to tell us our Dungeon Master tip?
Today's DM tip is take a risk. Kobold Guide to Game Mastering. The real key is to make a ruling without truly understanding the rules for a particular situation is to ask yourself 5 questions related to the ruling. Does it make sense? Is it fair? How much does it matter? Does it radically change the campaign? Does it add to the fun of the group?
That's fair. Yeah.
Good
Um,
question.
yeah.
Those are very good questions, yeah.
As a person who does this often, I have read that stupid book so many times it's ridiculous. But you know what I don't know? Everything. In fact, I forget more than I know. It's
Yeah.
not because I haven't read it or I'm well, it might be partly because I'm a little bit dumb, but honestly, I've learned long ago that my rulings are based on Is it fair? And is it fun? And finding this in the Kobold Guide to Game Mastering was a huge relief for me personally, because it almost justified the way I DM, by people who are been doing it for a lot longer than me. So, what do you guys think about these questions? You think this is what, when you don't understand the way a rule should go, you think that these questions are enough to determine whether you made the right decision or not?
Even if it like even if you didn't look at some of the like if you just stuck with the questions like is it fair and how much does it matter? Like if it doesn't matter a whole lot, just make it seem fair to the player, and you're probably fine. And if it does matter a lot, then I guess you know you could probably make a ruling that goes back to does it make sense and does it radically change the campaign? Then then you can kind of gauge it and be like, well, if this ever happens again, I'll definitely make sure to
Do it
look at the
right.
rulings again. But if it's like a simple check and you're not really sure which check to use, then talking with your players real quick, they might argue for something, and if that makes sense more than what you did, then say sure, we'll go with that.
Oh.
I don't know. That'd be my take on it.
Yeah, that's a good take.
I mean, it's a good tip to keep things going. And yes, there are times where you will have to look stuff up, but as long as you're at least consistent.
Right, right.
And that's
All right.
a big one too, right? Is being consistent.
Yeah.
With that ruling, which it's D&D. It's fine.
Yeah.
I'm terrible at consistency. Not just because I want. It's not like I don't want to be, but I don't remember what happened the last game. Even when I write it down, it's like looking at hieroglyphics. It's just like, what the hell was I trying to say right here?
The notes say, talk to the barkeep, 1 healing potion. Don't. That kobold looked at me funny. Great, that's useful.
It's like, why did I write this down in Infernal specifically?
It does look like that. All right. That's a good. I like that DM tip very much. So
It's a very important one.
yeah, I agree. All right, that'll do it for our Dungeon Master tip. Take a risk from the Kobold Guide to Game Mastering.
Yeah.
I can't remember who that was chapter that was from. That might have been an Ed Greenwood's chapter. I don't remember. Our player tip of the podcast is don't be a dick. And you can avoid dickitude by mastering those martial and arcane studies. I could not possibly not bring you a min-maxing sort of strategy in an episode all about player PvP and min-maxing and stuff. So, I found this wonderful article, which I'm sure I've referenced before because it's got lots of good stuff on it. From Gamer Rant, you'll find the link to that in our show notes. The Arcane Crusader. Anyone looking for a self-sufficient class capable of holding their own in almost any situation should look no further than the Arcane Crusader. A heavy armor gish of paladin and sorcerer, right? We've seen these kind of builds before, something similar to the coffee lock, right? Where it's all about manipulating some sort of mechanic, right? So, a Gish, for those unfamiliar with the term, is any character that combines magic and martial power rather than focusing on one. A jack of all trades, the master of a few as well. The Arcane Crusader is Gish, capable of fulfilling a number of party roles simultaneously. Need healing? Boom, lay on hands. Cure wounds, got it. Need damage? Ooh, I smite thee, bitch. Scorching ray as well, and a fireball out my ass. All are important damage types, and obviously because they are a paladin, they also have their mighty armor to protect them, right? So
crazy.
you basically, it gets worse. Despite this versatility, there are 2 features that lie at the heart of this Arcane Crusader's power. The first is the Divine Smite, right? Which we all know spell slots are Smite fuel. So the Paladin feature that allows spell slots to be converted into powerful damage and all that stuff on a hit, right? Which is great because you don't have to use it in advance. You're like, oh, I hit, boom, Smite. The interaction here is obvious as they become a sorcerer, right? They get more spell slots. That makes sense, right? More spell slots means more smiting, which is everyone's big shtick, right? Well, the Paladin's big shtick. Big stick, big shtick. Now, this makes the Arcane Crusader the king of burst damage, albeit at the cost of resources that can't really, be recovered easily. Now, in this article, he gets into great detail in this, and I think this is where It really is interesting. So, unfortunately, once spell slots have dried up, there's left with really, you're basically a paperweight with charisma. That's pretty
Yeah.
much what it is. However, though, the sheer amount of damage you can put out as an Arcane Crusader is huge. Good news, though, is that most things should be dead long before this can be a problem.
Yeah, I would
Now,
say with the amount of spell slots you have in your bank,
yeah.
your smite tank, you got
Yes,
a
the
lot.
Smite Tank, which leads us into the Arcane Crusader and its second pillar, which is the meta magic. If you don't know, meta magic has been talked about on the show at length as a player tip because it's so underappreciated. Would you guys agree?
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
Um, so, an Arcane Crusader with the Quicken spell, for instance, uh, doesn't have to choose between melee or spell, do they? They can do both. Now, that's what makes this interesting, because what resource does Smite cause besides a spell slot?
Uh, an action, I guess. Is that what you're referring to?
No, it's just, it happens. I don't think it consumes your bonus action at all,
Nope, it doesn't.
which frees it up for Quicken Spell. So now, not only can you
Gross.
smite the living hell out of them, toss in a couple points and hit them with a firebolt. Or any other spell, since smiting is not a spell. Yeah. What do you guys think about that?
That is so. I didn't.
I,
I
I
love
could
that
see
they're
it turning in your
using the
head.
mechanic- I hate the mechanic of smite not being a spell sometimes because this is one of those moments where you're like, God, this was so stupid.
Like how anti-magic areas don't cover smiting.
Smite, yep.
my my willpower is better than your spells, bitch.
That's funny.
It's so stupid, and I love it.
I mean, this means you can put out such an amazing amount of oomph.
God. After I hit you with a smite, I'm going to cast a point blank fireball. Try and live through that.
Actually, I was telling him ahead just now, picturing Escanor from Seven Deadly Sins.
It's just, I
Nice.
agree.
He just hit me with an axe. Like, and he's throwing a fireball at me. Oh, great.
Yeah, he's shirtless too. He's really buff. I'm gonna die. That's it. Oh my goodness. Or yeah, or casting like quick and hold person and just get a.
Oh my god, it's so bad. So Carmageddon says, I cast Smackdown, also Fireball.
Yeah, it's like oh, God, everything hurts.
Now, it's worth noting, though,
Yeah.
that this also means you're going to get a Sorcerer's hit dice on a Paladin.
Yeah. Which
So,
is less than par. But
right. Now, that can be, like, having heals and maybe carrying a shield can kind of offset that a little bit, but
right.
being a frontline fighter with low hit points definitely comes with its risks.
Yeah,
But,
especially if you're, playing like end game content with like power word kill and stuff. So I can see it.
yeah.
You know.
But if you can kill your enemy in one turn, what does it matter?
Yeah, I was like, if you can Armageddon a guy and then Divine Smite him with a 7th level spell slot, I mean, he's probably dead.
Yeah. Oh, that 7th level spell slot wasn't enough. How about another 5th level fireball in your face,
Yeah, like,
or
what the fuck,
fucking
guys?
disintegration or whatever it
Yeah,
is.
yeah, Disintegration Ray. Oh my god.
Yep, now I'm picturing once again Escanor.
It's just so. Oh my god.
But my abilities should hurt you, because you hate me. Well, I don't hate you. I pity you, because you're weaker than me.
That's great. You know what this kind of reminds me of? You guys ever watch Bleach at all?
Yeah.
Oh,
He has that little, Gatsuga Tensho thing he does, but then when he pulls the hollow mask over and it's super, that's basically what it is. Like, hit him with the little one, and then, haha, and just wreck everything.
and it just absolute blow up everything. Man, anime is so good sometimes.
Yeah, I know, right?
Ichigo's everything.
Yeah,
It really
too
is.
bad the Bounto.
He is the rogue Sorlakadin we all require.
Yes.
He has evasion, infinite spell slots. He gets everything back on a short rest.
Short rest, he gets it back at the end of the round. What are you
He
talking
gets it back
about?
at the end of the round. His pact is with the Hollow, but also his Hollow is his weapon, and he's a Hexblade.
He's a Hexblade and a Paladin, and
with a Conquest Paladin.
has Tulok done anything on him yet? I bet he does.
I don't think he has actually. Now that I think about it.
All
maybe
right.
he did. I don't know.
All right, this combo is awesome. So obviously it had to fit into our PvP arena thing because let's be honest, you run into this paladin, you might as well just say, okay, get it over, kill me. Oh, good, you're out. Now let's go.
I love how it's just like anti-magic field doesn't matter because even if you do that, he still has divine smites. It's just and lay on hands. Like he has cure wounds and like smites just
Well,
at the ready.
and you just touched on another thing. He can be offensive with smites and beat him down. I smite you, bitch. Here's a little healing for you as a bonus action.
Yeah, like it's just there's so much going on and it hurts.
Yeah. I think that'll do it for our player tip of the podcast. Don't be a dick, and you can avoid dickitude by building an arcane crusader. Thanks,
I feel
Game
like that
Rant.
is being a dick.
A little bit.
I don't know.
Oh.
Player tip: be a dick.
Yeah.
Just this one time.
So we hope you enjoyed your our episode today. That'll do it. Please join us in our next episode. We are going to cover our newest released weapon perks. It occurred to me. We don't really cover our own products very often,
Yeah, I've been noticing that.
but I think I want to because I want to share, even if somebody doesn't buy the product, I want to be able to share the ideas and the things that are inside.
Right.
And to help spark those, those ideas, since that's what the show's about. Hopefully, it doesn't come off as us as conceited by covering our own product, but this is really what this show's about. Whether it's something we homebrew or something we cover of somebody else's, so
Yeah.
we'll see. But I'm excited to talk about it because honestly, I put a lot of work into this. I put a lot of work into everything.
That's true.
So please join us next week as we talk weapon perks.
Yeah.
Is that the spot? Do I usually get that? That last line? Okay. If you have any feedback, under tips and tricks, or topics you would like us to discuss, please please send them to us. You can email us at critacademy@gmail.com or message us on Twitter or Facebook at Crit Academy.
Maybe that was me.
I think it was, but that's okay.
Yeah.
I'll allow it. Go ahead.
We
One
hope
here.
you enjoyed your experience here at Crit Academy. If you did, you can help others find the show by leaving a hopefully 5-star review on iTunes or your platform of choice. Or, dude, your cursor's blocking my reading.
Oh, sorry.
Or just send us a message telling us how much you enjoy the show. Also, be sure to give us a like and a share.
My bad, bro.
Make sure to subscribe to our show at critacademy.com. Follow us on twitch.tv/Crit Academy and subscribe to on YouTube so we can help you on your future adventures as well as a chance to win cool prizes each and every week. Make sure to check out our fellowship members as well. I know who's it, like Gabe and Jeff are awesome.
Yeah, they are.
They do great stuff, but
We do.
I don't remember everyone else off the top of my
That's
head
okay.
yet, but I know that's the
I got you.
the guys I got there.
Make sure to check out Brute Force and Ignorance. Those guys run an actual live podcast. They're awesome. Head on over, follow the Kind GM. He does great content on Twitter. One thing I would like to talk about really quick, a listener just said, don't forget to mention that we stream our own live game. We have a game coming up Friday, so
It's Friday, yeah.
you can watch us over at Twitch. We only stream it to Twitch, I think, or do I stream it ever? I don't remember. I think it's only Twitch.
Generally just Twitch, but
There is one thing I want to say. If you're interested in making professional looking content, last week while I was making something for my patrons, I streamed it and I basically did a how to make professional looking content without any real experience or knowing what you're doing at all. So, consider checking that out. You can find that at youtube.com. Just type in Crit Academy. It's in there somewhere. We don't have enough people to get our own youtube.com/Crit Academy. But hey, if you're not following us on YouTube, do that. Maybe if we get enough, we'll get that. But all right, is that everything? Did I miss anything?
I can think today was our first time we actually had a guy on YouTube chatting with us, so...
Yeah. Yeah, I think Carmageddon started joining us last week was the first time, I think. That I've noticed. I don't follow the chat as much as you. I can't because I'm trying to run the show, but that's why that's your job there, Ian. I think that'll do it. I am your host, Justin.
I'm your co-host Austin.
I'm your co-host Ian. Thanks for listening.
Keep your blades sharp and spells prepared, heroes. Wave goodbye. Thanks for joining us.
Bye-bye.
Thanks a lot, guys.